exciting week, haven't we, Harrison?
Thrilling week.
Thrilling week. We got to interview Daniel Ebb, Deputy Dan of the Opportunities Party. Well, you didn't. You.
No, I was.
He
I
was
typing away.
messagificating me on my on my
You answered something.
leg pad.
Yeah, you went to some of them.
Well, it's hard to read. You're sitting there quite a lot. We were restricted for time.
Yes, we were. We got 45 minutes sit down with him.
It was hard to. I mean, his eyes were just so captivating.
You were mesmerised, weren't you?
Dude, if you were sitting where I was sitting, you would have found it hard to lock in.
And dancing.
That's why he's deputy. That's why they seen them.
Yeah.
He's like, he just throws you off because you just lost.
He also balances out their leader. He was a bit more right wing.
Yeah, by a little bit. Yeah.
She is. Anyway. Yeah, we had a good chat with him. Got into some decent policy.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I wish I could push him harder on some things, for sure. There were points where I'd finish a question and be like, we need to move on. We got to exactly 45 minutes, so we used all of our time, but there were some things I wanted to push him a little bit further on.
Yeah, but we...
The mainstream's doing that anyway. Yeah. They're going schizo, so, you know.
Are they? They seem to quite like Opportunity.
I mean, if you look at ZB, they're going schizo.
That's just ZB.
And if you look at, I mean, the right wing...
Anything that's not national, ZB goes schizo on.
Yeah, I mean, the right wing, they're going schizo on.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, ZB has a Christmas exchange with Christopher Luxon.
True.
They're like the only people. It's like the only Christmas gift Luxon gets because no one else likes him. He's like, not even Santa would give a Christmas gift to Christopher Luxon because he would go, this guy's so boring, I have nothing to give him.
He's so rich he just buys it all himself.
Well, no, that's the issue. He's so wealthy. Any of the like boring, like, I got a different colour notepad today, he's going to get himself. And like, what else is it? He looks like a thumb. I guess Santa could get him a joke gift, but you know, Santa doesn't really do that.
No.
Unless it's coal.
Is that a joke gift though?
Well, if it were Winston Peters, coal would be like that would make Christmas.
It would upset Chloe.
It would upset.
It would send her into tears.
I think if Santa
especially if it's New Zealand coal. If it was Indonesian coal, I think she'd be happy with it. But if it was New Zealand coal, she would.
If Santa got Chloe and Winston's gifts swapped, it would be a tearful Christmas from both households.
Anyway, Opportunity. We got to deep dive into their policy a little bit.
We did.
Yeah. So they are in the process of releasing policy. As he was stressing in the interview, they're all volunteers.
Yes.
All of their policy team are volunteers who do all the policy work behind the scenes after the job. So they haven't got all the policy out. They are limited in their policy and what they can release.
You wonder how much like AI they're using. Like, why can't you make a draft budget? Or we just don't have the time of volunteers. Get Claude. Get ChatGPT. Just give it a go. Just see where it comes out at. Like at least if they don't release it.
You can.
No. Even if you don't release it, just like at least run the numbers yourself with AI. See what AI says. I mean, I suppose I could do that, but I'm not the Opportunities Party, am I?
No.
Maybe I will.
Maybe we'll release a Prosper budget. Oh. No, let's not.
No, okay. You have me excited. Climate.
So we'll deep dive into some of their policy.
Climate.
Okay, climate. What do we like? What do we don't like?
I like that they're strengthening the emissions trading scheme / weakening it.
Do you want to briefly explain the ETS to people?
Emission trading scheme. You have tree, they pay you for tree because tree eat carbon dioxide and they don't want carbon dioxide. You get point for eating carbon dioxide. You sell to people who make carbon dioxide. So people will just buy the absorption, essentially, that your trees have. But that includes pine forestry, which if you have gone and touched grass, which I know not many of you have, you would see that pines are an absolutely horrendous pest that are destroying our soil and our native bush. So they shall be cut from the emissions trading scheme. They won't count.
Just native bush.
Just native bush will be relevant. So that's nice. They're also allowing farmers to, if with the land tax idea, you'd be able to exempt
conservation land.
Private conservation land.
Yep.
Oh, conservation land is obviously already exempt because it's government owned. So why is the government taxing itself?
Private conservation land.
Which looks like, means if they protected their rivers and streams, otherwise known as strivers, you could get a little bit of a rebate on your land. And so, it's an encouragement for farmers to be more environmentally friendly, which I'm in favour of. I am in favour of that. What else? They want to support local government in implementing nature-based solutions for flood resilience and heat stress. That's nice.
Did they really explain what that looks like, or is it just one of those?
Not really. I mean, we couldn't. There's a lot of not complete nothing burger policies, but incomplete sentences on their website where the idea seems great.
There's hints of.
It's like, we're gonna go that way, and you're pointing towards, like, I don't know. Let's go to the restaurant. We're gonna go. I'll meet you at the restaurant, and they just point at like 5 restaurants, and you're like, well, that's great, but are we eating Chinese tonight, or are we going to the Italian place?
It's like, it's going out to eat in the food court.
Yeah.
Where actually we're going to eat? Yeah, I reckon.
Well, that's, food court's less nice than a restaurant, but if that's where you'd like to go, Harrison, fine, I guess. What else? Justicia.
Yep, so they want to decriminalise drug possession, but not decriminalising supply.
Sensible.
To a degree. I think we were having this conversation about what should be decriminalised, what shouldn't be. I don't think every hard substance should be decriminalised, personally.
No, but there's things like marijuana where it's so prolific. You drive around Dunedin for a night and, God, imagine Wellington or stop outside Chloe Strawbrook's house in Auckland, and the smell of weed or David Seymour's, is immensely strong. That...
Oh, no, there's an argument for something like marijuana, but is there an argument for something like... Our audience agrees.
Like heroin. Who knows? I haven't really thought about it. What else?
And shifting to a health-led response to drug issues, so treating it as a health problem rather than a criminal justice problem. I believe it's worked in other countries. Creating like drug dens, safe use facilities.
If someone's addicted to something, just blocking them up for a while and then releasing them into a community where that is plagued by that addictive substance, which doesn't necessarily have to be drugs. It could be gambling, or alcohol's a drug, alcohol or whatever. It's not a great way to respond to it, but people tend to implement that in government.
No, it definitely needs to be a look at for sure. That's what it is. Yeah. They also want to expand programs within prisons to help prisoners to process family violence to not repeat the cycle. Often you find, prisoners that were brought up in a household of family violence then perpetrate family violence themselves. So they want to help prisoners process that and break the cycle, break the chain. It's 1 or 2 strong generations, and it really would help a lot.
Absolutely. I mean, there are plenty of people who've grown up in households like that who have been able to move on. But I mean, it's a scarring thing, and for a lot of people, it's not that simple. As Harrison spills water down his shirt, for him, what isn't simple is just drinking a glass of water. Education. Let's talk about education. They want to encourage schools to reduce screen time and use screen-based learning as a tool for specific objectives in line with recent guidance from the Education Hub, which is obviously... I don't think the older generations realise how popular that idea is with our generation.
They think all we want to do is be on screens, but actually I think there's a lot of move nowadays back to pen and paper. We've seen the drawbacks of screens. We've seen how impactful it can be. I know a lot of people that are just getting rid of social media because they're fed up with it.
Well, I mean, I did. I mean, only reason I have social media is for this, so I can talk to you guys and you guys can hear me talk shit. I needed an outlet. But in general,
we got 10 minutes in before you swore. Well done.
Yeah, but I felt like I can because the
Hey Dan, you made it through the whole interview without swearing.
Once. I just went
Did you?
But oh yeah.
Oh, no, Shakespeare's dead.
Absolutely. That was my whole interview with him. So let's work on that for next time.
Yes,
Harrison's gonna text me absolutely if I say that again. I have 2 absolutelys per interview.
No yeps or ums or...
No yeps or ums.
Just let them talk.
No, the worst was just the
Or the paper shuffling as well. We need to work out what you're doing with the paper.
Well, I don't know why when I finished with a sheet of paper, I didn't just put it down next to me. I just held it all. I don't know. I didn't want him to take it from me.
Fine, it was our first interview.
It meant a lot to me. Yeah, but I mean, it's not necessarily like people getting rid of screen. Like a lot of people work on iPads and stuff, for example. It's not saying that for young people, but getting rid of social media, and that sort of thing, I think is I think it's more than a trend. I think people are sick of wasting their lives on a fucking screen.
But yeah, I mean, going back to their education policy, they want to use screen-based learning in specific areas for specific objectives. They don't want everything to be, I personally would learn best like maths and reading and writing on a physical page, in a physical book.
Yeah, but that's because we're both special.
Here we are.
And final is they're really strong on empowering the Commerce Commission. Now this I think is a 50-50 to me. Most, maybe 75-25 question, because the Commerce Commission is a rump of government institution for what we're asking it to do.
At the moment.
Yeah, I mean, hey, bureaucrats who have just finished, I don't know, your degree at university, you're now all by yourself with no government support, gonna take on the supermarket duopoly. See that $1 billion company? Go get them, Tiger. And they don't do
they can't do anything.
They can't. They literally they write on a piece of paper.
Power.
They got there and they go up there with their glasses and they go, excuse me, you can't do that. And then the government doesn't follow their advice anyway. So what is the point? So they want to empower them to, first of all, have a mandate to investigate further.
Yep,
that's obvious.
Challenge the High Court.
But and that's great. But what I would question is they want to give the Commerce Commission the power to make executive decisions around oligopolies and whatnot. I'm unsure about handing bureaucrats that sort of power.
Rather than
I like everything, but for me, if you're gonna make big nationwide government decisions, maybe that should be done by government. Or if it's going to be done by anyone else, why can't you let the courts deal it? Give the courts the mandate. Give the courts a direction. Well,
I mean, I think that's kind of what they're doing. They're empowering the Commerce Commission to take these oligopolies to the High Court.
Yeah.
So the Commerce Commission sees the problem, identifies the problem, and goes, "Hey, we're going to challenge this." But the final decision is not up to them.
The
final decision is up to the High Court.
Fair.
And the mandate is set by government. It's like the Reserve Bank. So. I think there's a bit of
zoning.
You're not
that was it's I like the first bit, and then they get a bit carried away there. So they want to simplify zoning, which is what can be built, where and when, and I mean, if you are a property developer, which you're not, if you're watching this show, you are in your bed bored probably. You're probably not that wealthy of a person. We're
aiming for prosperity. Remember?
You're gonna prosper.
You are gonna prosper.
Just listen to our show.
Yep.
Like, subscribe, follow.
Teaching with Tyler coming soon.
Hit that bell, smash that like button, and you will prosper. My 10 tips to get rich quick are coming sometime. You'll see when they come. Just keep watching.
They'll be here.
Maybe I'll drop them in the middle of a video. You have to watch to find out.
The whole thing.
You have to watch the whole thing through. I could drop it the last second. I can speak pretty fast. Anyway, simplifying zoning so that this means that wherever you are in the country makes sense. A developer knows that these are the rules to build in. This colour means this, and this is the parameters around building this, and whether it's in Dunedin or Auckland, that's fine. I like that idea. Simplifying it so there's a common, measurement system. It's like using metric instead of having metric, imperial, and 50,000 different systems of measurement, right?
One language across the whole.
We're all measuring in centimeters, meters, whatever.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't be. They're saying the government should sort zoning. It should be up to the council. It should be up to the local community what gets built where. But when they go to clarify that to the, as you say, when they go to clarify that to the companies or to anyone who's looking to build, why not use a common language?
Yeah.
Instead of having to get Google Translate out and then 50 lawyers out to interpret what this means by this council.
A lawyer in Auckland will interpret it differently than a lawyer in Dunedin.
Well, I guess that's in it. That's a criticism of having the government-wide thing, but it's not so much what the lawyer interprets, but that the literal code is different in Auckland and Dunedin at the moment. So if you make the code the same, you remove some of that useless red tape.
Yeah.
And then, what else? It's sort of mixed. Supporting off-site builders to take on apprenticeships. What does that really entail? Sounds good, but there's no clarification there. Backing reputable developments with affordable housing by underwriting to take the bus out of the boom cycle. That sounds good, but what does that mean literally? Incentivizing quality with low-cost loans and refunding GST collected during construction to councils for higher environmental standard builds. That seems good. But they're all about, we don't do sugar hit. We don't do like little niggly bits that just you pay more.
It's not in their DNA of their party, as he said.
You don't pay more for the bureaucrat to do it, then it's just silly at that point. Well, is that not that? I'm not sure. And then support lifelong and flexible learning, including funding for community night schools. Sounds great, but what is a community night school? Are we talking about universities and the government education system, or can anyone just start a school and get funding from the government to teach their education? Which obviously I'm in favour of anyone getting funding from the government to teach. So I can teach my 10 steps Muay Thai billionaire school.
Here's a lot of 10 steps. Here's 10 steps on everything.
There's 10 commandments.
You got 10 steps to get
I'm like
quick.
Moses.
You're the new Moses.
I'm not saying I'm the new Moses. I'm saying I am like Moses. I am but a man.
Okay.
As so Moses was but a man.
Moses was a man.
But I am but a man.
You're a butter man.
I am a butter man. Here's the correct way to butter your toast. If you've read that Dr. Seuss book,
10 steps to get rich quick, 10 steps of Muay Thai, 10 steps to butter your toast. What else?
This is why you have to pay for the course.
Sorry, yeah.
This is why you have to pay for the course. What are you trying?
$9.99 a month?
You're trying to get me to give up trade secrets.
10 a week?
Well, I mean, I like to match.
$1 a point?
I like to match the cost of AI. So it's either $40 a month or $400 a year.
Because you're just as intelligent as AI.
I'm more intelligent than AI, but the
my apologies.
Issue isn't I'm underselling myself. It's not a value for money thing at this point. It's trying to support the community.
You're doing a service. You are. You're providing such a great and such a low cost.
And this would help me a lot. New topic.
We almost had a new Prime Minister this week.
I wish we did. But
you do.
Yeah, the thumb.
We almost had it. We almost replaced a Chris with a Chris.
See, Lux Luthor remains. It's Lux Luthor primacy coming to
a lot of different names.
Coming to DC Studios. It's the follow-up to Superman. Yeah, it's it's Lux Luthor.
Anyway, Christopher Luxon faced another leadership challenge this week on the 12th of August, so Wednesday. 87 days out from the election, he called an emergency caucus, in-person caucus meeting for a vote on his leadership for the second time in 4 months. You look like you've already got something to say.
No, I'm bored, and so is the viewer, because he's still here. You know what? Let's just cut to the chase. He remained. They had 3.5 hours behind doors. They were, who knows? They had 3.5 hours, and they came out going, yeah, this Christopher Luxon guy, he's quite good.
Luxon came out, gave a 72-second press conference. That was about half an hour later than they said it was going to be. Said he had full support and didn't take any questions. And he has not released the numerical result of the poll, of the vote.
The National Party is just so. They have no base. He has no base. They could have switched to someone with a base, and their base now is just, don't vote Labour, they're mean. They're losing all their voters.
Friends.
They're losing their voters to ACT. Anyone who's economically, libertarian, they're just all going to ACT now. Anyone who's right-wing, culturally concerned is going to New Zealand First. Anyone who's sort of centrist is considering going to Top.
Well, because Opportunity is getting momentum in the polls. They've had 3 or 4 polls now where they're sitting at that 8-9% mark.
Now that's voters who may go back to National because they probably don't want Top. The ones going for National don't want Top to go to the left.
Polls are polls.
Same for Labour going with the right. But at the end of the day, his base is old people who voted National their whole life and think that smart businessman will save country. And if you've read the news, smart businessman may not be smart businessman, and he's definitely not save country. So, sorry to offend you. I know. See, Harrison, he's got a framed picture of Luxon on his wall, and so it's always tough. When I say Luxon has no base, Harrison would like to be the base. He is the base, but Luxon's just failing to reach him. He's failing to even reach his base.
Yeah. I will openly admit that it's not a good look for the party. But are we just skipping ahead? Are we going to keep talking about this? You're not interested, are you?
Well, you can talk about it more, but what more is there to say?
Well,
he's unpopular. He's 17% of people prefer him as the Prime Minister. He has never reached above 30% in any polling for Prime Minister. John Key usually sat around above 40%. But
the problem is Labour hasn't got a popular leader either.
No.
Hipkins is just as unpopular.
Both the institutional parties are just idiots.
Yeah, our next Prime Minister is going to be unpopular regardless.
Yeah, because both the two institutional parties are numpties.
Yeah.
You can't vote the institutional parties. Well, you can if you support them, but what are they doing?
Anyway.
Can we move on? Let's move on.
So we just after our interview, where did we get to, Tyler?
I thought we were going to move on to something more entertaining or less laborious, but
it was laborious. It was entertaining, but it was laborious.
USA leaders debate the review.
Just before we get it, I think OUSA should be ashamed of themselves for how they moderated that debate.
It was I think it was a member from The Critic and a member from Radio 1 who they'd selected to moderate it, and they could not moderate it. They didn't draw the line.
No.
Politicians are like kids. You give them an inch, they're just going to keep going for miles.
Yeah.
They're like me. They just don't stop talking. They just talk over Harrison endlessly, and that's all they did, and they never stopped them. So a member of OUSA actually had to get up there and started taking over the debate because the moderators couldn't moderate. They could ask a question. They just couldn't shut them up.
But then again, there was the sound effects.
The sound effects were appalling.
Really frustrating. Were never played over the likes of Alliance, Greens, or Pāti Māori.
Yeah, but the sound...
They just very much targeted...
They had sound effects to, show support for, the left-wing parties.
But they just constantly played them over the top of other parties. They kept turning down the... they had them sitting in left-to-right ideological... Yeah. Although they had National as the furthest right party, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
Not sure how that one works. But they had them sitting left to right. And the parties that were the right-wing... the current coalition governments, they kept turning down their mics. They cut off the mics, but they never shut off the left-wing party.
Oh my god! It was Shannon from
Halbert.
Labour. He couldn't shut.
That was just depressing.
He was sassy.
He just whinged and whined and was very. That's a great impression.
It was your government who did this, and some of his points were right. Some of his points were like, you did the same thing under Labour, but it was just, it was just laborious to listen to. It was utterly laborious.
There wasn't really a flow to it either. They kind of just jumped all over the place.
Oh my goodness. Parmajit Pamar from ACT. I've never met nor seen a worse New Zealand MP. Have I? Well, maybe maybe she can do more, but
she was not good.
I've met, she could not hold a debate. I think she came out with ACT being the most unpopular party in the room because it's a bunch of students. And she left, having made them 3-4 times even more unpopular. It was insane. She started just yelling out misinformation. She just started yelling out the parties were spouting misinformation. Yeah, she's just like, every time anyone from the left said it, and she had the mic, no, misinformation. And it was just the strangest thing. But she's an obviously unhappy person. Yeah. She is quite transparently miserable. Yep. And you wonder, it's hard to be mad at someone like that. You got to take a break. Just chill. Leave politics, you know. Find happiness, please, because it's not good for yourself. It's not good for anyone who's in the country that you're a representative of. You know, you can't even hold a debate because you first of all didn't seem to have the ability to hold a debate. Maybe that's not your line of work. Forte. Maybe that's not your forte. Yeah. But you just were obviously an unhappy person, and I really do hope that she finds happiness. Mm-hmm. But I hope ACT realises this and
doesn't send her again.
Well, they're sending her to. They've already lined her up to go to the Victorian one or maybe the Auckland one.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
I would put her quite low on the list because I mean, but
she was quite high last time, but she's a former national MP, which gets the draw.
But I don't know.
I'm waiting for Act's list to come out there and release those.
I don't know what she's done in Parliament, so I don't want to take her too much.
We were talking a lot about it. She's raised a lot of concerns about. She's their tertiary spokesperson.
Yeah.
So she's raised concerns about race-based spaces in tertiary education.
Right.
They've just released their new policy, which we'll get into shortly. But yeah, I mean, it was a very hectic debate. A lot of yelling, a lot of screaming.
It was very painful to watch. There were points where I just wanted to leave, but I'm a journalist, so I stayed. I powered through, but I don't know how everyone in that room stayed, honestly.
Yeah. What was your quotes?
Oh, okay. Harrison, tell them about this.
I'm going to go the overview of the different parties that were there. So we had the Alliance there. They claim to be the democratic, most left-wing party, the working class party that represents students and the voiceless. Then you had the Greens, who were there. Chloe Swarbrick, one of the two leaders. Alliance's leader was also there, Victor. And then Chloe Swarbrick is the Greens leader, who prioritised students and that decisions should be made for students rather than for lobbyists. Pāti Māori was up there. They claim to be the only explicitly treaty-based party. They represent. They clearly represent Māori and iwi interests, but also seek to represent everyone. And want to invest $10 billion in education, health and social services. Labour, Shannon Halbert was there for Labour, mainly focused on National's track record, talked about their $10 fare cap policy, their 3 free GP visits, and focusing on cost of living pressures. Opportunity Party, Daniel Ebb was there. He went immediately after our interview, said that New Zealand was experiencing national decline. Establishment parties have failed to deliver. He presented Opportunity as a circuit breaker party that will work across the political spectrum. New Zealand First, Andy Foster was there for New Zealand First, former Wellington mayor, claimed that New Zealand, that neoliberal economics has failed, that education is an investment in both individuals and in New Zealand's future. Graduates should reinvest into New Zealand after they graduate because of how much they were given, and that education needs to deliver results. ACT was there, as we've discussed, that the education system should also deliver. There should be greater choice in courses, despite universities constantly cutting courses. Freedom of expression and equal treatment was a big issue that was raised by the ACT Party, and that taxpayer funding should follow need rather than ancestry, so no race-based policies. And finally, National was there. Penny Simmons, Minister for Tertiary Education and MP for Invercargill, I believe, or that area, focusing on the economic track record, lowering rents, lowering interest rates, lowering inflation. Didn't really give anything new in their opening pitch. So, well, we got some good quotes.
Yeah, so first of all, I would say we forgot one to mention about OUSA. They didn't even tell the politicians and all the audience, like, the rules, how long you can talk for, when you say yes or no.
They gave them panels and then barely used them.
And they didn't say the rules, and then they came up halfway through, after the first, I'm so sorry, we forgot to mention the rules, and then they only mentioned, like, half. And
I also forgot to do the introductions first. They went straight to a housing question. Anyway.
Shall we actually do some... I actually forgot we do have breaking news. You do know this?
What's breaking news?
Okay, so...
To Pāti Māori's policy?
Well, we can go to Pāti Māori's policy.
What was the other policy?
Te Pāti Māori broke a policy at the... Te Pāti Māori broke a policy at the OUSA leaders debate. They
spill this time.
Their policy being they want to increase the student allowance twofold. They want no repayment on student debt. So you're basically debt forgiveness, I believe. And they want no parental means test. That is Te Pāti Māori's policy announcement around students that they had at the OUSA leaders debate. Next bit of news. Let's see. The Green Party. I don't know if this is an announcement at the debate or not, but Chloe Swarbrick all but admitted that the Greens are planning to challenge any close electorates with this new...
legally challenge them.
They want to legally challenge any electorate that's close in, that they're close, somewhat close in, because of the new enrolment period, because you can't enroll all the way up to election day. And she claims her justification for that was that the government would do the same obviously she also had the
She
justifications.
expects the government to do the same. Yeah.
Also, she had the justifications that it's unfair and Greens are totally against that. But at the end of the day, she's the only person I've heard who's come out and said, we're going to challenge the election results on any electorate we're close in.
She did also announce that her and Chris Hipkins have been working together to announce a list of policies that they would repeal under urgency were they to be elected into government. So the Greens and Labour will come up with a list of policy they're going to pass under urgency to remove from law basically immediately following the election. Immediately, as soon as government's sworn back in, as soon as Parliament sits again, they will repeal law and they're going to announce what policies they are going to repeal before the election.
Well, but that is the other thing about Labour. Labour criticised heavily National for using urgency. So, and this was a good question on behalf of OUSA. They said, well, National's done, and my statistics are wrong here, but National's done 17% of bills under urgency. I think that's correct, but Labour was something like
15.
15?
It was 2% difference.
So it was 15. How can you criticise National when you've done the same thing? To which he just redirected the question, jumping to the contentious issues that National's put through under urgency. After just having said in the question before that he thinks urgency is bad, and then Chloe Strawbrook came up and said, actually, Labour and us are planning to use urgency to repeal a lot of laws. So basically, Labour had no consistency and actually lied. So, shocker. I summarise this debate as a hard, mind-numbing, demoralising watch. Andy Foster was on his phone. So this is a alleged direct quote that didn't come from Andy Foster.
He didn't say it into the mic, but he may have said it.
Listen, I can't confirm that he said this, but I believe...
We also can't deny it.
I believe what he may have said was, I'm not playing games on my phone, I'm taking care of business. And that may have been Andy Foster.
He was 100% playing Block Blast.
It may have been Andy Foster on not taking his turn to answer a winter energy payment question. Which he did actually answer later.
He did answer it.
He did answer later.
He wants to extend the student allowance.
But when the mic went to him, he was too busy on his phone and he just let the mic be passed down. Like it was in front of his face and he, in his mind, potentially went, I'm not playing games on my phone, I'm taking care of business. Penny Simmons, when being asked about unrestricted data centres in New Zealand.
It's a big topic, actually.
This is a direct quote.
Great.
You know this direct quote? You'll remember it. They said, why should we allow unrestricted data centres in New Zealand given there's no legislation? Why shouldn't we have time to create legislation? And here's Penny Simmons' direct quote. I don't want data being processed in the Middle East.
Yes.
Penny Simmons.
She didn't clarify which country in the Middle East.
Penny Simmons does not want our data
being processed
in the Middle East by data centres, because data centres are notoriously great in hot climates, in predominantly unstable countries. There's only one country in the Middle East that could probably safely build data centres.
Is that because they don't really get bombed too often?
Well, they've got a big thing that shoots down the bombs that bombs them. But if that's what Penny Simmons is alluding to, then, you know, they're all terrorists. That's great. But
Thank you,
if
audience.
it's not, who knows? What an intelligent comment there. So ACT and New Zealand First were totally in favour of AI.
Well, ACT didn't want any further regulation on AI. New Zealand National believes...
Not New Zealand First, yeah.
National believes that the current technological restrictions and privacy restrictions and all that legislation extends to AI, so it doesn't see the need to...
Well, it's the same. It's the same answer.
They don't need these... all the other parties...
And so they're happy with you being AI tracked. So a question I wanted to ask, but they didn't really take many audience questions apart. Like they took 2 audience questions. The rest were like mates of the...
Debt monster.
But I said, why don't we start AI tracking on just MPs? And if they need to extend their trial, why don't we extend it to the MPs' families as well? Because if they want to do AI tracking, like if they're going to vote it through, why not make sure it's all okay and there's no data breaches? And, you know, ACT and New Zealand and National are in favour of your data being collected and stored and sold with private companies as well as the government. So if the MPs want us all to be tracked by private companies and the government and totally invade on our lives, I don't know if that's a good policy or not, but let's just start with them.
Yep.
They would vote that through, right?
What they don't want.
They would vote through. We could even make a public record. They'd definitely vote through a public record of everyone they meet, every lobbyist, every escort that they cheat on their wives with, on a public database. Do you think that would pass?
Might be close.
Might be close. I can't. I couldn't understand why it would be close. Anyway, that was a packed room. Anything more to add?
Not really. Let's get into some policy.
Let's get into some juicy policy.
There's been sort of 3 big policy announced this week. Start with ACT again. We alluded to it earlier, their student services fee. We will be quick with this because Tyler just is fed up. He wants to get on to, I don't know, whatever. ACT wants to make student services fees completely voluntary rather than compulsory, seeking to save students about $1,000 to $1,200 a year. Student services fees fund things like student unions, student media, clubs, sports, health services, orientation. Not us. We got told no. ACT says that the policy could save up to $4,000 each year. Oh, God. Here we go. Talk.
Well, I mean,
the
student union refused to fund us, not necessarily the uni.
Oh, yeah, no. That's what I'm saying. The student unions.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got told no.
Yeah.
Anyway.
The student unions, they don't care about the students. We do.
No.
We have your interests in mind.
Yep.
The student union, they don't.
No.
Listen to us, not the student union. We are, to quote Jacinda Ardern, your single source of truth. Hell yeah, brother. Keep going, Harrison. Sorry for the interruption.
So university services would be offered as a menu, students picking and choosing what they pay for. And unchosen services would be available still on a user basis, a user pays basis. So even if I say for Otago down here, if I chose not to have some of my fees go towards Unipol, the student gym, I could still use the gym, but I would have to pay as a user pays basis. ACT argues that it would create competition and force these services to fight to stay alive and create ways. Oh no. Say it.
I'm not saying anything. I'm letting you finish. I'm just putting my sunglasses on so people can't see that I'm going to sleep.
Okay. What don't you like about this argument, Tyler? Policy, Tyler? What don't you like?
Well, I was going to have a nap, but fine. It's fine for things like the student magazine that people don't read. Maybe there's arguments for having a student voice because the magazine does more for...
magazine they got us.
Exactly. The private market has come in and smashed the student magazine out of the water. Our tens of viewers show us.
That's generous. I think we get 4.
No, we get 10s. I've looked. It's since our interview. It's in the 10s.
Oh, well done.
And 10s for some of the videos being 10. But anyhow, that's a it's all good defunding, luxuries, I guess, media, radio, whatnot. But you can also opt out of things like student health
and counselling
services, which are useless until they're not.
Yep.
So if you decide suddenly, I need student health, it's not a flip switch. You can't just turn it on or off. You can't go, I want health, let's give some money there now and I'll use it, because it's not there because no one's paid for it.
Yep. So
there are some services where you could go, okay, you can choose to fund that or not. But there are a lot of services that just make sense to have in student services fees, a bit like how you pay tax and have a social welfare system, and then you pay for the rest.
Or a public healthcare system.
Like the public healthcare system, which doesn't serve students because it's too expensive. But then student health always has a 3-week wait, so that doesn't serve students either, but hey.
Anyway, it was a slow week for policy, so we get to talk more about the National Party. Yay! Tyler loves it. The National has come up with budget responsibility rules. They have announced 3 fiscal rules that they would legislate, and Tyler's going to have a nap. If re-elected, the goal will be to get back to surplus, reduce debt, and keep taxes low. The 3 rules are return to surplus by the 28-29 financial year and maintain that surplus. Reduce debt down to 40% of GDP and keep it there. and reduce core Crown spending towards 30% of GDP to help keep taxes low. He's had a long day. National says this would focus on restraint, reprioritisation, rather than new taxes simply, protecting frontline services while reducing lower priority and back office spending. So less money for the bureaucrats, more money for the nurses, allegedly. And continue investing in infrastructure, but require projects to demonstrate value for money, so they have to have a return on investment. The Greens have come out against this, obviously, and argue that the targets are meaningless if they don't actually improve people's lives, and that it could restrict infrastructure investment because sometimes infrastructure doesn't always make money. Labour says the rules are nothing new and accuses National of creating unnecessary political pressure. And ACT, one of its coalition partners, says the rules are too little, too late, and that getting government spending to 30% of GDP will require much tougher decisions, like on areas such as superannuation, health, and welfare. Go.
Well, I ordered a burger from the National Burger Place, and it has nothing in it, really. This is just nonsense.
It's a virtue signaling
There's
policy.
nothing in it. Like, we will get... And it's like, why would you reduce debt to 40% of GDP and get it there? If your goal is getting debt down, then why isn't your goal just getting debt down?
Why does it have to be 40%?
Why is it specifically, we're going to get it to 40%?
Why not? Why can't
and then we're going to have a siesta, because that's a lot of work, guys. Also, we're not in a budget. We're still in budget deficit now, and we will be next year and the year after. But we promise you, we definitely will get into the positive.
They are on track to a surplus, I think. Allegedly.
They're always on track to a surplus. When does a surplus happen? Bill English. That's the last time, right? You know,
it was spent within 2 years.
Yeah, because you can't trust them. So if the goal is surplus, then put it in surplus. But the goal is not surplus. The goal is votes.
Yep.
So they released a nothing burger policy to try and get some votes off ACT. But we're going to bring the jet down. Anyway.
Don't disagree.
M&M's. Oh, M&M's P. Peanut M&M's. It's peanut. So peanut M&M
Peanut M&M referendum.
The MMP, which either stands for mixed member proportional, or Harrison has written peanut M&M's backwards. Luxon wants a vote on MMP again because MMP allows smaller parties in, because you get a party vote, not just local vote.
Allows Winston to bully him around.
And it makes it more democratic. Your ideas get more put through because it's not just two parties fighting each other and ultimately serving the same group of elites. It's 7 parties fighting each other and ultimately serving the same group of elites. So Luxon would like it so that it's his party in the majority, and so that he doesn't have to he doesn't have to negotiate with other small parties on how they serve the elites. So Luxon doesn't like MMP because he wants more power, and he's such a dick at this point. He's not even watching what he says, and he just went out there and said it. And then the rest of the national MPs were like, that's not policy. And Luxon, no, it is. Yeah, it's national policy now.
Paul Goldsmith said, if the party leader supports it, it becomes policy. That's what...
And just yet another reason why Chris Pink seems to potentially, I mean, I wouldn't say he's the one guy with brains, because they should have done it long ago, but he's like, holy crap, this is our leader, we still have him. So he's sitting...
Well, we didn't get into this, but was it Chris Pink, or is Chris Pink the scapegoat?
Oh, Chris Pink is the scapegoat. He is the
Stanford and Bishop have played a masterclass, tried to get Luxon out, realised they haven't had the numbers, and thrown Chris Pink to the sacrifice. That's what they've done.
Yeah, I mean...
It's obvious.
If National... It's just obvious. It's just obvious. It's just obvious that if National get in, they have to roll Luxon within a year and put Stanford in as Prime Minister, or they will not be re-elected. Mm-hmm. But they probably won't do that. You wanna talk about MMP more?
We'll see how it goes. They want to do a 4-year term. It'll probably be a referendum alongside a 4-year term.
4-year term is a reasonable position.
Yeah.
It may not be the best decision. I don't know, but it's actually a reasonable proposal.
But we'll wait and see. Luxon wasn't clear about what the referendum looks like. Is it MMP versus first past the post? MMP versus an alternative?
Let me be clear. That's an Obama reference. If you see the memes, he goes like fully transparent after saying that.
What?
Can we talk about the Queenstown gondola?
Let's talk about gondolas.
Gondola, dude.
I'm woken up from your nap now.
Queenstown. Huh?
I'm woken up from your nap now.
Queenstown gondola.
This morning, National has come out
with the Queenstown gondola getting support from National, dude, you'll be able to go from the airport to town on three gondolas. One from the airport to the other side of the road, one to the top of Queenstown Hill, and one back down to town again. I know this off by heart. You don't need to fact check me. I've read the full plans because I am a nerd.
Makes one of us. I'm a normal human.
Well, you're reading policy to the viewers who have all left by this point.
Come back.
Gondola.
Please.
Yeah, I mean, so Queenstown's getting a gondola from the airport to town. There's a few more gondola ideas, which I believe there's one to Lake Hayes as a proposal. There's a few, but the main one is just to get to town. And then anything from these further down the track. This seems outlandish, but it's also pretty cool to be flying around on gondolas. No, it seems outlandish, but it's a genuine...
It is outlandish. It seems outlandish because it is outlandish, but it will still work. They can both work at the same time.
Sure. Medellin and I believe... I don't know if it's Medellin, Bogota, or Calais. But anyway, Colombia has, that's the most...
You're naming town. I was like, what?
These are three cities, right. Medellin, Bogota, and Cali.
Right, gotcha now.
Two of those, their main source of transport is gondolas.
Right.
Because you
really have looked into this, haven't you?
Yeah, I've looked into the total viability of gondolas in Queenstown. Yes, I did a full-on investigation into it.
Right.
Why? No idea. I had a reason at the time. This was over a year ago.
Life.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's a viable project. It works there. In Paris, they've got one that's pretty popular. It's a efficient efficient means of transport for moving groups of people. But the issues with a gondola are capacity cap. You need more transport. You put more buses on. You put more trains on. The gondola is just there.
It's fixed.
It's a fixed, but it could work quite well for Queenstown's tourist system, given that it's all tourists coming and going in groups all time, all day. It could work quite well to and from the airport. It's a valid, and Queenstown's only got one road in, one road out, unless you go all the way around towards Arrowtown, turn off, go down the shot over, then you can bypass it all, and that's way longer. So no one takes that road. So it's one road in, one road out. So there's nowhere else to put a road because there's a mountain and then there's a lake. So in between the mountain and the lake, there is the road, and you cannot put another road in. So why don't we just all fly on ropes around the sky? And it could work quite well. And why wouldn't you take the gondola to the top of the hill to get scenic views over the whole of town? Because Queenstown Hill is just before town. You've got airport, town, and then the hill on the side. And then there's a valley behind town. But you get scenic views. It's like a win for tourists. You get to go into town efficiently, and you get pretty awesome views of everything at the same time.
So you're in favour of this policy then?
Well, I mean, I think it's a good idea for a tourist town, the gondola. Yep. And what else are you going to do? There are buses. They have the same issue. They're rebuilding the roundabout that you go Frankton, you go towards Arrowtown, you head out of Queenstown towards Cardrona or wherever, or into town. There's one intersection there. Super bad traffic. Had a roundabout. They're going to put traffic lights in there, and they think it'll fix everything. It's still, ultimately, you've got one road. You have a capacity. Why not put everyone flying around the sky on ropes? They've also got another project which you should look at. I think it's called Loop or something. But it's like Ubers that fly on ropes. So rather than the ropes moving, the ropes are static, and it's got little electric cars that drive around on the ropes above the roads. But yeah, the gondola itself is probably a good idea. Do you want to actually talk about this? That's about all.
I don't really have much to say.
That's all there is to say about it.
This is.
It's worth. So furthermore, National says, because they're doing a South Island conference or something. You know this. I don't care about.
Yeah, it's the National. It's South Island. No, it's the South Island election conference this weekend. All parties are there. There's about 640 business people and political leaders there. It's not just National Party.
Yeah. investing in the South Island worth $100 billion a year of investment in farms, vineyards, mines, ports, tourism operators to help drive growth, create jobs, generate export income, and benefit the entire country. There is absolutely no specifics on that statement. So they're just going to throw $100 billion at some.
That was a statement from Luxon.
Yeah.
Which is probably why there's no specifics.
We're going to throw $100 billion at stuff in the South Island, which will help you guys and the whole country vote for us. I winked the wrong eye there, so I had to switch.
All right.
And what, you want to talk about the Chinese fish drones?
Can we talk about China?
You can talk about your Chinese fish drones.
Cool. So a Chinese startup has been developing a bionic drone that works both underwater and in the air.
It's a flying fish drone. It goes under the water, it jumps out of the water, and it will blow you up or spy on you. It spies. It's a spy drone, but it will blow you up as well at some stage.
Yeah, in the air it has a fixed wing design. Underwater it moves like a streamlined configuration, just like a fish would.
Great.
Thank you. They claim that it can go 50k an hour underwater with a 1 hour of flight endurance.
Anyway, it's a flying fish drone. So they've basically the fish speak Mandarin now. And on that note, 再见. Have a great day.